Hello, dear fountain pen, ink, and paper lovers out there. Welcome to another episode of Paperdag's Paper Talk. Today, of course, we will do an episode of Currently Inked, which is absolutely overdue. But before we move on over to the desk by the window, I wanted to show you two of the treasures, or three that is, that I brought from France in April already, which are they caught my eye, and I thought I really should share these with you because they are so special. And this is one of them. Two small notebooks, which are, what are these called? For, to keep track of spendings and whatnot. And the lady at the flea market who sold these, I asked her, how old are these? Do you have any idea? And she told me that they're from about 1918 or so. And I just, had to get some. 100 years old. Yes, absolutely. That's crazy. The other thing is this cahier de texte. And this is a notebook, I believe, where you are supposed to write down whatever the homework is, whatever you got to do for the different subjects. So what do we have here? Oh, yeah. It's sorted by the different days of the week. Pretty cool. Sorted in color, and I wonder how old this one is, but I will never find out. Yeah, just love it. Not sure what I'm going to use it for eventually, but I thought it's a really cool thing to have because I'm sure this is not being made anymore as we see it here. Yeah. And now let's go to the desk and let's look at some pens. I always have this tray, which was a vacation souvenir. I have this up on my desk with, for sure, one of my favorite writers, the Lamy 2000 and the Esterbrook SD Gold Rush this one has a medium writer's nib, and this one has one of my all-time favorite nibs, the double broad oblique. And like I said, this always sits on my desk where my computer is as well. But I don't always write there. So I usually keep my other inked pens in cigar boxes. And right now I have this box, which is a mix of different kinds of pens. And there are two more boxes. One of them holds all of my TWSBI Ecos, and the other one holds currently, as you will see, my Pelikan pens. So this is where I keep track of my currently inked pens because I usually have enough pens inked up to forget the inks that are in there in the pens. And if you wonder what I like to write, I do journal. I've been journaling on and off throughout my life, but also I love to write letters. So that's really my thing. And so that's where I use a lot of my pens, long letters, that is. And let's start off with this. Okay, this is the Esterbrook SD Gold Rush with a medium writer's nib, and it's inked with Birmingham Pen Company Jade, which was a sample that I believe Brenda of the Dormouse's Desk had gifted me. I really, I mean, this is one of my top pens, one of my favorites, and one that my husband had gifted me, so it's always on my desk in the tray that I showed you. I mean, not always, when I have it inked up. So why do I always do this? This is supposed to have a scribble in front. Birmingham Pen Company, Jade. And I had not used these two pens in a long time. So sometimes what happens is the ink kind of gets more concentrated and smears more. Yeah, and I think this will be the case with both of these pens. I know you have seen this one because it's definitely on the top of my top 10 list, with this amazing nib that really is so glorious with a good ink. And I have inked it up with Sailor Virginia. Now on to the box. If you like this thought of keeping the pens in a box, in a cigar box, I would recommend to go to a local store. My local store sells these boxes for $2 a piece. And then you can, pick the size that you love. And I use the boxes only for around the house, because a lot of times I write in different places, like I want to carry them outside or to the kitchen table, and that's just perfect. So currently I'm using 3 boxes. This is the one with the mixed pens. The other one is the one with the Pelikan only pens. And then I have a third that has my TWSBI Ecos. And let's get started here with this beautiful Kaweco 50s rock. It's one of their student series. It has a median nib, and it's dear to my heart because it was a gift from my son. It's a great and reliable writer. Definitely a pen that I would happily recommend. And the ink was a sample from Simone. I'm sure you know her channel. It is the Vinta Tabuan Sea Star from the San Francisco Pen Show, I believe, last year. Yeah, great match for this pen. And I inked this up like about 6 weeks ago. But these two have been inked for a very long time, and that's why they are more concentrated in the pen, and I gotta pay attention and I gotta focus on using these guys here. And so I want to write them dry, that is. Here's another Kavico. That's a Kavico Brass. I think it's called the Supra. I could post it by screwing on the cap, which I never do. I never use my pens posted, even the Kavicos, even the Kavico Sports, I don't post. And this is a great writer, very reliable. And I usually, because it's so rugged, I take it on my trips always. Also because it's a dear to me pen, because it was a gift from my brother. I think I've had it for 2 years now. It has a double broad nib, and right now I have a mix of inks in there. Don't ask me why. Sometimes I do these things and it's really fun. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that I also mix the dyes for yarn. Whatever. This is Birmingham Pen Company's Summer Sweet with Diamine Soft Mint. And like I'm writing here, it's about a 2-to-1 mix. Usually I don't write down how, I don't really pay attention to the mix exactly, because I don't want to replicate. I just find it interesting sometimes. Oh yes, this is also a new to me pen. That was a gift from a friend in Germany. It's called a Pelikan Happy Pen. As you may guess, it's another school pen. And my friend sent it inked up with an Inkabara ink. As far as I remember, he said that these come in 3 colors. Let me rearrange myself without shaking the desk. Oopsie. This doesn't have any marking. I'm just guessing it's an M. And Inkabara. It has a number. I'm looking it up. 425. Coral. Great match for the pen, which is an awesome writer. If you have been here before, you know that I love my Pelikan pens. They're just reliable and fun to use always. Sorry, gotta take off my shoes. Okay, here we are. These two, love, 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 love them. This one pretty dinged up, as you can see. I've had them both for a very long time, probably at some point from a flea market in Germany. These have been, for the longest time, my favorite letter writers. And if I went back to the letters that I sent my husband, I'm sure many of these were written with one of these two pens. Yeah. Because my husband is American and I'm German, so that's how we rolled for quite a few years with our letter writing. He wrote with ballpoint pens. Yes, I forgave him. These are Faber-Castell pens. And the model, I guess, is Castell 10. And I've always classified this nib as a broad oblique. Hope you can see. And this ink is a Birmingham pen company that I ordered the ink for a friend in Germany and took it to Germany, and she said, yeah, pick anything and fill a pen, whatever you want to try. I picked this one, and I have no idea what happened here, but it should be greener. And I don't know if I probably had something not perfectly cleaned out. I mean, the pen, of course, because here, clearly green. Beautiful color. Yeah, and the other one, that's my new Birmingham Pen Company ink. Oh, should show you the nib. It has a bit of a damage, which does not at all impact the writing. And this I classify as a B, even though I cannot find any marking. It's not an oblique. But this ink, oh my gosh, look at how well it matches this pen. Broad, I'd say, and this is Birmingham Pen Company. Terracotta. I hope you can see that. The pen looks fairly black to me in the camera, but I promise it's not. It goes so well with this ink. Here we have what I've called a Pelikan, a Parker 45 two-tone. Don't know what the real name is for this, but I bought it in Paris at a flea market, and it's great. Good memories. I have inked it up with a bunch of leftovers that I combined, leftovers from samples. All green, obviously, as you may guess. Among them, Dominant Industry, a mini sample of a green, evergreen or something like that. Call it a two-tone Paris. And the nib is an M nib, and I just call this a mix. This is the Opus 88 that my friend who had borrowed it had returned to me. And love this dirty green. It's an Opus 88 where it's an eyedropper filler. So you should open the back to have a rich ink flow, and if you don't open it, that's what you do when you carry it around or travel, or when you're on a plane or don't want to use it for a while. And it has this insane amount of ink in it. And the ink in this case was from my friend, and I had to write it down, and I'm peeking over there to not mess up the name. It is from their Emperor a series, I believe. Taepyeong Seongdae. Sorry. love, love, love the dirty green. And now, because we're only doing currently inked, I'm gonna close the back up. Now we're going on to the Pelikan pens. Grab the box. Here we go. This is probably one of my largest boxes, and I had it recently filled with all of my Pelikan pens, all of them inked up. But by now I'm down to these guys. And I will introduce you to this beautiful collection. Wait. Oh my goodness. This is the wrong order. All right. I have written dry a few of these in the past days as I wanted, because if you've seen the last video, I got a bunch of new pens, new old pens from Germany, but I do have to write some pens dry before I allow myself to ink any of those up. Let's start with this guy. I love all of my Pelikan pens. Let's start off this way. So, and this is Pelikan Pura. And while I love the way this pen writes, and I've been tempted to get it in the green color also, because this is blue, as you can see. It has a broad nib, and I am just really, sometimes I'm struggling with this slippery grip section. I love the shape of the grip section, and it does not let me slide onto the nib or anything, and I don't get inky fingers. But still, I wish it wasn't that slippery. Maybe just a matted material, more matted. I don't know. No. So in this guy, I have another mix, because I had Diamond Winter Spice. I think it was in the 21 advent calendar, but I wanted it a little bit lighter, and so I added Lamy Mango. And it's still a rich and dark brown, but I like it a little bit better. Yeah. That was a good one, and it never gives me trouble starting up or anything, even though the Winter Spice is a shimmer and sheen, as far as I remember. Yep. Next is a currently loaned pen, which, as I'm pretty much decided that I will purchase this from a friend who didn't want to keep it, and the price was great. And I must say I have a bit of issues when I write with it. It skips on me sometimes, but I talked to my Pelikan man, Joel, here in New Mexico, who helps fix any kind of problems related to Pelikan pens and also other pens. And so he said it's probably not a big deal, and he's going to take a look next time we meet up. And so you probably saw the skipping right there at the very beginning. I love this ink for this pen, skipped again. It is a Pelikan M800. And the nib is a broad oblique. And Joel said when I talked to him, when I emailed him, he said it's probably just a small issue that can be taken care of with just a little bit of nib tuning. Yeah. And this ink is Carver's Green Goddess. Yeah. Love the two-tone nib. Great pen, and it will be even better when this tiny problem is fixed. Here's another new favorite of mine. It is called this is a Pelikan M620 Grand Place, named so after a location in Brussels. And I purchased this one used as well from Joel, and I love it. And I've inked it with another sample of Birmingham Pen Company Copperhead, and I gotta tell you, I may have to get a bottle of this ink because it's just such a great match. This one is a broad. Yeah. I think I'm almost out. Yeah. Doesn't have an ink window, so soon. Here is one of our new pens, eBay Germany. Not cheap, but I think the price was okay. And it is a 400 NN Pelikan with a double broad oblique nib that will also need to get some attention from my friend Joel, because when I write, let me show you better. You can see this now. It shifts over a little bit from the feed. I don't have any trouble writing with it. It writes just fine, but I still want Joel to take a look at it. It's my only brown one of the Pelikans. Vintage, of course, Pelikan 400 NN. And this is a double broad oblique. And the ink is Pilot Iroshizuku Omiji. Yes, lovely. This is just, as you can see, all of these pens with the broad nibs just show off all the ink properties so nicely. Shading, and especially the shading. Yeah, love it. Next is another pen that you've seen multiple times. I call it my Pelikan 400 NN the stained one because it has this little damaged spot, but that's just, I just give them these names, and it's not, I love him dearly, and even though he has a stain, and Joel told me he can fix that stain and polish it away, and I'm like, no, 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 I want to keep it as is. This is, as you can maybe see, it's a very, very juicy rider. And yeah. It's only a broad, excuse me, an oblique medium nib, but it writes more like a broad. And the ink is one of my all-time favorites, Birmingham Pen Company, Petrified Wood. Here we have a fairly new to me pen, another Pelikan M400, the blue one, and I purchased this from a friend and I didn't pay attention. I would have preferred it much more with a golden nibs because of all the gold accents here, but I may take care of that eventually. Because Joel, I'm sure that Joel is going to be able to help me out with this. An incredibly juicy writer. Pelikan M400 with the broad nib. And the ink is another mix. Don't quite know the relation of these two, but this, I think it was too juicy. That's what I remember. That Diamine Arctic Blast was sitting on the paper so wet that it would just never dry. And so I thought I need to add an ink that is a bit drier. And that's what I remembered about this Tatcha ink. Yeah. Yeah. And then I have this baby, which I had wanted for a very long time now. I've had it for quite some time. The white and tortoise green M400. With a broad oblique nib. Did you know I love broad oblique nibs? Just kidding, you know I do. Okay, and what do we have here? Ferris wheel press, blushing mushrooms. This was a sampler from my friend Des, and every time I use it with this pen, I'm thinking when I'm out of the sample, I'm going to have to buy a bottle of this because I just love it so much. And I do have a pen friend in Germany who says she cringes when she sees this ink coming out of this pen. She doesn't think it's a good match, but I don't know. I don't know. I like it. I like it. Yeah. Now we have another fairly new pen, which I got, another one that I bought from my pen friend, Jim. This might be empty. Let me see. It's a Pelikan. Let's push it a little bit here. The Pelikan M200 in a transparent green. I should say demo green. And this is a B. Yes, I thought so. And the ink is Dominant Industry Natural Green. I don't know if I have more of this. If I have more of this sample, I will re-ink it with the same. Yeah, so maybe that's why I kept it in the box. And here is another M200. Boy, this one has been hard starts, which I blame on the shimmer now. But as soon as I get it to write, it's fine. I don't need to dip it in water or anything. Pelikan M200 Golden Barrel. It's another broad nib, and the ink was another sample from Simona. I really, really like this color. It's called, and I'm peeking again at my note because this is another one where I forget the name of the ink. I think I already messed up. Unit on you. Star Spattered Hill. This is in regards to the shimmer. That's pretty insane. Not every pen can handle that. And here we have one of my Pelikan M150s. And I had a bit of trouble because I never knew, are they M100s or are they M150s? And I just found out that, I mean, I did some research. That's how it works. This is a broad, and so when the trim is gold, it's a 150, and when it's silver, it's a 100. I think all of the ones that I own are 150s. And this ink that you see gushing onto the page is Diamine Dusted Truffle. Another sample, gifted sample. Great, reliable writers. Yeah, these little guys. What am I even saying? All of my Pelikans are. So this is the only one of my new pens that I had purchased in Germany that I had already inked. I had inked it in Germany. And this was the one I had mentioned it last time. It's a little bit weird because it's like shiny here and kind of dull and almost looks more worn out on the cap. Maybe it's a mismatch, but the cap fits. And I don't really care. And so I have inked this up with an ink that I got a sample of in Germany from my pen friend Andrea. And Andrea sent me Robert Oster African Gold. And this is a medium. Now, what am I doing? African Gold. All right. Next up, another 150. And this is one that I have inked up with another Robert Oster. That was a sample from Ramona that I was really looking forward to using. And I had trouble finding a good pen that matched. I think this is a bit of a drier ink. And so it needed a Pelikan pen. Yes. And even in this, with this fine nib, it's doing great. Dusky pink. No problems anymore whatsoever. Yeah. Now we have, this is a, it says, does it say it on here or did I look that up? Oh, it says it on here. It's a Pelikan 25. It's a, takes converters. I think I'm almost out of this ink. And another oblique nib. Pelikan 25. I classify it as a broad oblique, but I'm not sure. Maybe medium. I don't know. And this is a sample from Dear Casey. Thank you to all of you out there who have sent me samples. I really appreciate it. And it's so fun to think of you all when I use the pens with the inks. Let me show you the nib a little bit better. You can see. Yep. And here's one of my favorites. I just got another one of exactly this pen with a broad nib. And this one, seriously, I'm a little bit confused because I think I think it's Colorverse from Cali, but I'm not sure if I may have switched to Dominant Industry ink, but I don't know. What am I? Who am I? This secretary, my secretary, she fails me. Pelikan 20 Silvexa with a broad nib, and I'm calling it Colorverse from Cali because I'm not sure. If it's not, they're definitely very, very similar enough for me to get them mixed up. Not sure why the nib is discolored, but it's I'm pretty sure it's a gold nib. Yeah. Great writer, great writer. is one, it says rolled gold on here. And it's also a Pelikan 20, probably also a Sylvexa. Cool color, isn't it? I'm calling this one the globe one because it has a company logo, probably the globe symbol here. I classified this one as a fine, and isn't this a gorgeous green? Sorry, you cannot have this unless you have Ferris wheel press frivolous lime, and you combine it with Noodler's Army. The ratio, I do not remember, but I love the color. Isn't it great? Another Pelikan Sylvexa. This one is a Sylvexa 21 or 21. I'm not sure if you can read that on the cap. This is a white gold nib. Looks very much like the normal German school pens in the 80s, I want to say, which of course wouldn't have had a gold nib. It's a 585, 14 karat. Now I'm just looking at the screen now and I wonder if I moved you out of this, if I wrote all of this outside of the screen area. Did I? Oh my gosh. Did you yell at me, Doug, move the pad, move the pad? Maybe you did. Okay. Calling this a medium. And this is another pen friend sample from Casey. And this one is Sailor and Tinteria's Blue Corn. Up there we had, where is it? Here. In the 25 we had the Agave. Oh, not consistent with my thingies here. And now last but certainly not least, because this one is, I did some research for a change. You know me, I'm not really very good at that, but I believe that this is called a Silver Star P478. Pelikan, of course, because it's in the Pelikan box. And also similar nib, gold colored nib, who knows, maybe also a mismatch from a different pen, because I'm a little bit surprised silver should be white gold, don't you think? I'm not sure, but I don't care one bit. I love this pen. And it was a, I'll write that, P478. And this one was a gift from a local pen club friend who saw all of my Pelikan Sylvexa and who thought who just handed it to me and said, here, I think you clearly love these, so I think this should be with you. And in case you wonder, all of these take cartridges or converters, with the exception of this one, which was the 20 with the broad nib. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yeah. And this one was in the beginning so incredibly juicy that I had to find a dryer ink. I don't know if this fits that bill, but it hasn't had any spills since I put in the different ink. This is Robert Oster, Morning Mist, and I know this was also a pen friend gift, but I apologize. I can't remember who gifted me this. But like I said, I'm grateful for all of you. And this is the end of my mix and the Pelikan, my standard mix and the Pelikan pens. And I think if I added the Twisbies now, this would be way too much, so we'll save this for another video. I hope you enjoy your day and enjoy your writing, whatever it is that you're doing, and I am looking forward to seeing you soon. Let's give all of these one last look. That's all for today. Bye.